That was why I was doing rukia for a woman at Kubo, and it happened dramatically. The jinn said, Ustaz, please help us beg this woman and her husband. They are starving us. After eating bread, the remnant of the bread, they will throw it away without saying Bismillah. And once they did not say Bismillah before throwing it away, the unbelievers among the jinn eat it, but it is not lawful for us, the believers among the jinn, to eat anything that the name of Allah is not mentioned upon.
Subhanallah. Is the jinn speaking?
Wallahi lazim.
Through the woman?
Through the mouth of the woman. The jinn said his name is Abdulaziz and the woman is sitting before you. Even the husband of the wife said he doesn't know anybody called Abdulaziz, not as a friend, not as a member of the family. Wallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala alam. Then there are ways of protecting yourself from their harm.
Our topic of discussion today is on jinn. What are the types of jinn we have? And what are the harms that they can cause human? Please listen. When you listen, you will learn. Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. In the first place, we need to talk about jinn entirely. What is jinn? Who are the jinns? Jinn are rational beings created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from smokeless fire for the same purpose with which mankind is created. And the purpose is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not to set up rivals with Allah. As Allah has stated categorically in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I did not create jinn and mankind except to worship me alone. And from Islamic perspective, jinn were created before human beings. Because of a verse in Surah Al-Hijr, Allah said, وَالْجَانَ خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلُ مِنْ نَارِ السَّمُومِ. Jinn, we created jinn before human being from a smokeless fire. It means they were there before us. Now, what are the specific places for jinn? There are some places that jinn dwell. We need to know their own place of dwelling so that we leave those places for them. Because if you are going to their own place of settlement, it's as if you are inviting their harm upon yourself. Number one, any abandoned place, like an uncompleted building, an abandoned environment is one of their places of settlement. Anywhere that is full of dust is one of their places of settlement. That is why even if you want to throw something into your waste bin, into your dustbin, say Bismillah before throwing it into it, because they are always in the waste bin, eating from what has been left over and be thrown into the waste bin. Another place they live is the hole. Prophet told Abdullah ibn Abbas that do not urinate into any hole you see. Abdullah ibn Abbas, out of astonishment, asked the Prophet, said, Prophet, what is the crime in urinating into a hole? Prophet said, that is the place of dwelling of jinn. Wallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala alam. Even if you are sending your children to throw something into your waste bin or dustbin, let them be say Bismillah with loud voice. That is it. Then what is their food? Yes, religiously they requested from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to provide their means of livelihood for them. Prophet said, you will be eating from any bone or any animal that the name of Allah is mentioned at the point of slaughtering it. The bone of that animal that has been thrown away will appear in your own hand with a lot of flesh. So you eat from that. But apart from this, they eat everything that human being is eating. They eat rice, they take beans, bread, and everything. Wallahu ta'ala alam. The non-Muslim among them eats anything that the name of Allah is not mentioned upon. That was why I was doing rukia for a woman at Kubo, and it happened dramatically. The jinn said, Ustaz, please help us beg this woman and her husband. They are starving us. After eating bread, the remnant of the bread, they will throw it away without saying Bismillah. And once they did not say Bismillah before throwing it away, the unbelievers among the jinn eat it, but it is not lawful for us, the believers among the jinn, to eat anything that the name of Allah is not mentioned upon.
Subhanallah. Is the jinn speaking?
Wallahi lazim.
Through the woman?
Through the mouth of the woman. The jinn said his name is Abdulaziz and the woman is sitting before you. Even the husband of the wife said he doesn't know anybody called Abdulaziz, not as a friend, not as a member of the family. Wallahu tabaraka ta'ala alam. Then there are ways of protecting yourself from their harm. Number one, don't throw any hot water even in your compound without saying Bismillah. Because if they happen to be in the compound, if that water burns them, then they'll begin to harm you. Do not throw any stone away or anything away without saying Bismillah, because if you throw it against them, they can make your hand to paralyze. Then don't jump from any high place without saying Bismillah. A scholar called Jabir ibn Abu Bakr al-Jazairi, he wrote many books in Islam. He wrote Minhaj al-Muslim, he wrote Aisar al-Tafasir, he wrote Aqidatul Mu'min. In this his book Aqidatul Mu'min, page 55 precisely, his own younger sister Sadia, they one day climbed a particular tree to get the fruits. Accidentally, Sadia fell from the tree and there was a deep hole under the tree. So Sadia then jumped from on top of the tree and then landed in the hole. Some weeks later, Sheikh Abakar Jabir al-Jazairi returned home and met his sister struggling. Caesar took her. That is why in the course of our discussion today, we are going to see that epilepsy is of two types. There's epilepsy caused by jinn. There's epilepsy that will come naturally. We'll discuss about that. So Abakar started reciting Ruqyah. The jinn spoke out of Sadia's mouth that Sadia killed my son the day she fell from the tree, because we live in the hole under the tree and I must revenge. So during the course of the Ruqyah, the jinn disappeared, and after some days the jinn came back. Abakar Jabir al-Jazairi did not return home on time. He returned home after Sadia has received a serious and severe beating from the jinn, and that was the day Sadia died. This is available and obtainable in Aqidat al-Mu'min, page 55. So if you are throwing hot water in your cup and say Bismillah, you are jumping from a high place. Before you land where you are going to land, say Bismillah. If you are coming into a dark room, say Bismillah, and so on. Now, types of jinn naturally. Jinn are created according to Abu Salabah al-Khashani in three categories. Some of them are snakes. Yes, and scorpions. And that is why if you see snakes in your room, do not rush to kill it. If you can be there with the snake for 3 days, please do. However, it's not compulsory for you to remain there in the snake, for you to remain in that room with the snake, because I don't want you to say Ustad Mustafa said we should live in the snake for 3 days. No. But what Prophet said is that inna bin madinati jinnan qad aslamu. Fa idza ra'aytum minhu shay'an fa adhinuhu salasata ayyam. Fa in bada lakum bada zalika faqtuluhu fa inna zalika shaytan. Prophet said in this city of Medina there are some jinns that have accepted Islam. So when you see any strange and outrageous thing like snake, give it 3 days. How? Move closer to the snake and say, oh, you this snake, if you are the real snake created by Allah, I beg you to live here with the name of Allah and do not harm anybody. And if you are a jinn, a snake that is of the jinn, live here with the power of Allah and do not harm anybody. You said that today, said that tomorrow, said that next tomorrow. If the snake refuses to go, then you kill it. Prophet said, "For inna zalika shaitan is nothing but shaitan."
So yeah, Ustaz, what if you are scared of
Yeah, that's why I said it's not compulsory. If you are scared of staying there, leave the room for the jinn. However, the needful must be done.
But you can stand at the door.
Yes, stay far away from the jinn and say exactly what I have said before. You said that today, said that tomorrow, said that next tomorrow. If it's still there, look for a way of killing it. Wallahu ta'ala alam.